Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I was wondering why the energy felt off. There we go. Now we're actually live. And we're here with another episode of the Fantasy Lounge on the SGPN Fantasy Football podcast. God, can you tell it's a Sunday morning and we've all been up watching this game? Andrew says it's boring. I say it hasn't been terrible, but we're here and we're helping Corey Baxter. We had a whole discussion about it already, but let's recap it. Corey needs to. George Kittle, Jordan Addison, Deontay Johnson, or Taysom Hill. What are we thinking, Andrew?
I mean, again, I'd like to see the matchup that this guy has. I mean, I'll probably go. It's Deontay Johnson for sure for me. I think with the way that Pickens has been less than ideally a good teammate, I think that probably gonna go Deontay Johnson's way a little bit more than Pickens. So I'll take him, and I want to go Addison because I think he's going to get a decent amount of volume with Hawkinson a little banged up. Kittle's interesting, but now with Debo back in the lineup, there's always one of these guys that's going to have a shit game. Kittle without Debo has been okay. Kittle with Debo, not great this year so far. So Kittle's out for me. Taysom's the wild card here. He's the one that could get you 0 points or could score you 4 touchdowns. So if you want to take that aspect, I think that's fine, but I will probably go DJ and Addison.
I'm right there with you, DJ and Addison. It feels like Deontay Johnson's going to get 10 targets every week, and any guy who's going to get 10 targets every week has a chance to get 10 catches, which in PPR is a baseline of 10 points. So give me Deontay Johnson all day, every day, and twice on Sundays.
Yeah, I'll take Deontay and Addison. It is standard scoring, but we're looking at, again, Taysom Hill is the wild card. If you're needing to go for the home run, I'm going to put Taysom in the lineup, and I'll put him in over Addison. I'll keep Deontay in there.
I just don't know that Taysom Hill's a home run play. He just feels like
the way they use him in the red zone. I mean, he literally has the ability to throw a touchdown pass, and everybody on this has that option, but his is a little bit more. And then the rushing, like he could end up with a stat line of like 0 catches, 2 rushes, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, for sure. All right. So next we're talking about standard scoring. George Pickens, AJ Dillon, Tyler Boyd, Romeo Doubs, or Jaylen Warren. I think we're picking one here, gentlemen. Who are we thinking?
Standard scoring too at that. Oof. Damn, that's tough. Probably Warren just for standard, but I also like Boyd with no Higgins. Definitely not Dobbs for me. No Dillon, can't trust that. And Pickens, maybe. So it's between Warren and Boyd for me. I guess I'll go Warren with the standard scoring that usually leans towards running backs, but Boyd's very close. I do like that matchup as well for him.
Yeah, I wish Pickens wasn't such an idiot because I really like his matchup this week. They just traded Rasul Douglas, and so he does, he does get the matchup opposite of Jair Alexander. But we'll see what Mike Tomlin does. Does Mike Tomlin, feed him, or does Mike Tomlin, punish him a little bit? So I'm going to play it a little bit more safe and take Warren here as well.
Yeah, Warren really feels like the guy I want to be in on TJ Boyd, or Tyler Boyd. But the thing is even with a high snap share, he hasn't been producing this year. The catches have been there, but the yardage hasn't. He has 2 games of more than 50 yards, and that's a 52 and a 56-yard game. He just hasn't been. I mean, he's getting older. The offense is running more through Chase and Mixon. Maybe Joe Burrow back and fully healthy changes things a little bit, but I don't think that Tyler Boyd is the guy we once knew. And in non-PPR, I don't really want a lot of him. So give me Jaylen Warren, who's been producing consistently week in and week out. Let's roll with Jaylen Warren.
Yeah,
the Steelers finally used a timeshare it back.
last time that T. Higgins was out, everybody ran to get Tyler Boyd, and it ended up being Trenton Irwin. And so we don't know if Boyd's going to get that, same kind of treatment, but that's what it looked like the last time.
Yeah. All right. Shane Kenyon asking, pick one, Najee, Flowers or Shaheed. I can't pronounce. I'm struggling with that one this morning. Where's Brad when we need him?
I got Najee. I know it's been a little bit more of a split backfield, but I'm still taking Najee in this one.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Decent matchup. Man, I want to say Flowers, but it's a tough matchup today against the Browns. Shaheed is the wild card here. Again, like he could easily catch a long touchdown pass, but I think that they're going to try to get Olave a nice day. I mean, he's kind of been hit or miss all season long, so I think Olave maybe is the benefactor there. So yeah, I'll agree with you and go Najee.
I'm going to go Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was semi-involved last time they played. 3 catches for 56. So he has the ability to make plays with the ball in his hands. And they've gone away from getting him involved in the rushing game a little bit in recent weeks. So I wonder if they're not going to bring that back around, because he was close. He does well when they get him double-digit touches. He needs the ball in his hands. He needs to be rocking and rolling. So I really think that I want to see more Zay Flowers, and just from an upside potential, I really like him, especially in PPR. He's more likely to get to targets that Shaheed is not going to get. And Najee Harris doesn't look like a guy who's holding on to his job. It looks like that's Jaylen Warren's job, and Najee Harris is just running into the pile between the 20s. So give me Zay Flowers there. Oh, we got one here. I've been rolling with Taysom Hill, but I'm thinking of starting Jake Ferguson. What do we think about that? Daquan the Great.
Yeah, thanks for checking in again, Daquan. I have Jake Ferguson slightly ahead of Taysom Hill, just by 2 spots. I do think that there's a potential that the Cowboys are winning by so much at half that Jake Ferguson doesn't get a whole lot of work. They are favored by 16.5 unless the line has moved. It should not be a very close one there, and I don't think they're going to have to pass the ball a lot. But Jake Ferguson has been hot, just like Taysom Hill, and so they're both, my top 7.
All right, so just thinking about this, though, Jake Ferguson, PrizePicks right now thinks he's going, the line is 8.5. So are we going more or less than 8.5 fantasy points for Jake Ferguson this week?
Higher.
Andrew, more?
Higher.
More than 8.5? And or Dave, where are you thinking? Is he going more than 8.5?
Yeah, I'll give it to him, but like I said, I just don't know how much throwing they're going to have to do in this one.
I mean, it might be one of those things where they get up early and they get up often, and then the backups get in. And even if the backups get in, they might want to keep throwing the ball with guys like Jake Ferguson. I'm not sure. Did Trey Lance win the backup job, or is he just chilling as the third stringer? I honestly don't know.
I'm not sure.
Is this a Trey Lance game? We get the battle of Trey Lance and Tommy DeVito in the second half. But Jake Ferguson, 8.5 fantasy points feels very.
Is that
doable.
Available anywhere? Can we get odds anywhere on any books of Trey Lance throwing a pass or over a couple yards passing, anything like that?
No, PrizePicks has nothing that I can see. That's just the one I have up right now. I was like, that feels like a great play to make on PrizePicks.
I'll go Ferguson on this as well. But honestly, I think you're fine rolling either one of these guys out, to be honest.
Yeah, but I like Ferguson a little bit more too.
Yeah.
So next, we got to drop a player to bring Kyler Murray off IR. Zach Charbonnet, Christian Kirk, or Tyler Algier. At least I think that's Christian Kirk. If it's Kirk Cousins, that's a clear answer. And I'm questioning why that wasn't done already.
Yeah, it's all last names on here, so I'm gonna go with Christian. But yeah, I guess I'll drop Algier because you're handcuffing Walker with Charbonnet, but Algier's another great handcuff. It's a little too late. What I would do if you see yourself in the situation, you got to be active, make some moves. Algier plus a guy to go move up.
So just thinking off the top of my head here, if this person doesn't want to play Murray, I leave him on the IR if you don't have to make any other moves on your team. I don't know what fantasy platform they're playing on as well. Some allow you to make moves while they're on IR, some don't. So if you don't have to move Murray, I wouldn't. Personally, I'm not starting Murray this week. I'm not trusting it. So if you don't have to take Murray off of there, I wouldn't, and I wouldn't drop any of these guys. I would potentially try to trade Murray as well. So yeah, again, just a different school of thought.
No, I like that thought of I'd move Murray. But if you really want to hold Murray, I'm dropping Algier. You got to hold on to Charbonnet with Walker, and Christian Kirk has looked good for Jacksonville, but that offense does look very hit or miss. But you got to think that they're going to get it together here down the stretch. So next, we got a non-PPR, Tyler Boyd, Devin Singletary, or Gabriel Davis. Woof.
Yeah, we got to get these guys playing some PPR.
Yeah,
I mean,
damn.
PPR, non-PPR, it doesn't matter to me. I'm more just this choice pains me a little bit.
It's not Singletary for me. It's between Gabe and Tyler. Man, Gabe's a home run hitter. Yeah, so Gabe's a home run hitter. I feel like that's kind of what you want in standard, but Boyd feels a little bit of a safer pick. I think he's going to get more opportunities. I'll go Boyd, but yeah, I think Gabe's a perfectly fine pick as well.
Yeah, I'm going with Gabe Davis. I think that if they get the same type of volume, Gabe Davis is going to get more valuable red zone targets, deep down the field targets, and that's where you get chunk plays and stuff like that with it not being PPR.
I mean, I'm just so worried about Gabe Davis being phased out of this Bills offense because he doesn't seem to be winning. They're not getting the shot plays down the field for him right now. And it's been a lot of Khalil Shakir getting involved and a lot of Dalton Kincaid because Gabe Davis isn't winning the deep balls and isn't winning the deep routes. So honestly, I think I'm going Devin Singletary here because Devin Singletary has been past 3 weeks right around 15 touches every week. This week, the Texans are going up against a Bengals defense that hasn't been able to stop the run. And Singletary can get involved through the passing game as well. He's a very capable back. I don't think he's going to have the bad 26 and 30-yard games he had the last 2 weeks. So give me Devin Singletary in this spot, especially in non-PPR. Last, Jerry Jeudy, Jaleel McLaughlin, or Odell Beckham Jr. in the flex. How are we feeling about this, gentlemen?
Not great, but I'm going Jeudy.
Yeah, that's my this is my buddy Tyler, so shout out to him for joining us. Appreciate you. And it's Jeudy for me as well. Can't trust McLaughlin. I'm not even sure how much playing time he's truly going to get. And OBJ, he's past his prime. It's a tough matchup. Yeah, I mean, he's number 4 at best on the pecking order in my eyes as well. So yeah, I'll take Jeudy.
Yeah, I mean, one of these guys is a reliable NFL player. The other guy is a fun fill-in, and the other guy is an also-ran at this point, just kind of a washed-up guy who doesn't really belong in the league anymore. So give me Jerry Jeudy all day on that one.
All right. I got a few other questions. So Downs, Dotson, Noah Brown, or Njoku in the flex. It doesn't say the format, so I'm going to go with 0.5 PPR.
Who is it?
So it can't be Downs because he's already playing. So
yeah, Dotson, Noah Brown, or Njoku.
I want to say Dotson just because he's been on a tear the last couple weeks. The Noah Brown one, interesting. It's probably not Njoku for me. The Noah Brown one's really interesting. No Nico Collins. You got Tank Dell there. You got Dalton Schultz. Noah Brown had a massive game last week. Could be in for a decent amount of opportunities. But Dotson feels good as well. So, I mean, it's either one of those guys. I'll go with my hometown guy, Dotson. Shout out Penn State. Shout out Commanders. But Noah Brown's interesting, though.
You're really shouting out Penn State?
Of course. Yeah. Okay.
After that game yesterday.
I didn't shout out James Franklin. That dude can get fucked.
Penn State looked god-awful yesterday. As I think it was Noah said on his Twitter, he said, Michigan gave Penn State their calls that they were going to run the ball, and Penn State couldn't stop them in the second half yesterday.
James Franklin, just so bad against top 10 teams. Oh, God.
Give me Jahan Dotson. Noah Brown is interesting here, but I think that's going to be more Robert Woods and Tank Dell than it's going to be Noah Brown. And I don't want to flex a tight end. I'd much rather flex a young receiver who's been having a breakout stretch. Even with Curtis Samuel on the cusp of coming back, I would much rather have Jahan Dotson, young, good route runner, athletic. And let's just remember, this Washington offense can only get better because I don't think sorry, someone just texted me saying they're coming to Thanksgiving, but their wife is going to bring their own stuffing. So I feel a little insulted that they don't trust my cooking, but it's
That's
okay.
A power move. You bring
that was a power. That was a power move right there. I'll just bring my
man.
own stuffing. It's fine. Yeah. So, but give me Jahan Dotson, young guy on the rise. And I think the Commanders' offense is only going to keep getting better because either Eric Bieniemy is going to get it together or he's going to get fired, because this offense should be a lot better than it is right now. And it's been good.
Yeah. As far as I'm sticking with Dotson.
Yeah. All right, PPR, who's the flex? Christian Kirk, Aaron Jones, Terry McLaurin, or Kareem Hunt?
I'm going Aaron Jones.
Really?
Damn. I mean, yeah, I think Aaron Jones is a good pick as well. I mean, he's going to get a bunch of opportunities. They pretty much are going out of their way to try to, get him the ball.
I guess he did finally do something last week. I mean, he hadn't done anything all season. He'd been just bad. He'd been 11, 6, 11, 11 touches, and he finally got 24 last week. But I don't know. Just
I'm going to go second pick, and it's close.
I've been burned by Aaron Jones a lot in recent years, so I'm very gun shy on going all in on Aaron Jones. Kareem Hunt's looked a little more reliable. Not by much, but a little bit more. The Browns are getting him involved. He's getting that goal line work, and he's on a tear right now. Over the last 4 weeks, he has 5 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, he's just been an absolute monster since he's come back. And I might even think about Terry McLaurin because, again, this Commanders team is slinging the ball all over the place. And McLaurin, who are they? They're playing the Seahawks defense is god awful. Yeah, give me McLaurin or Hunt. I might even, honest to God, unless you have some studs in your lineup above those guys, I want to try to find a way to put both of those guys in my lineup this week.
It's funny. We whoever's question this is, we're going to help them. Not at all, because I'm going to go Christian Kirk. I think that the Jags are going to be behind in the game. We've seen the Niners get burned the last couple of weeks through the air. I don't think Travis Etienne's going to have a very good day. I think that that's kind of where the Niners do excel, is stopping running backs. They have a good front. I mean, here comes Chase Young out of the gate. Trevor Lawrence might have himself a tough time today, but I do think he's probably going to have to pass the ball 40-plus times. So I'll take Kirk.
Yeah, my article, I have Kareem Hunt as someone I'm lower on this week. I get it. He scored at least 1 touchdown every game since he's returned, and twice in one game. But he's also only playing 38% of the snaps. So you're just banking on a touchdown, and it's Baltimore. They're very tough against the run, especially in the goal line. And so that's what it comes down to. He's touchdown dependent, where Aaron Jones in a PPR setting, I feel like does have a safer floor, and so does Terry McLaurin. And then with Kirk, it's just, again, these are good. This is the same. Every week we say the same thing. I say the same thing. Package these guys up and go trade for someone that you don't even have to ask us about. Like, this right here is like 4 good choices, but they're not great. Go get a great option.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the Ravens, they're okay against the run, but they've given up 100 yards to the Cardinals, the Titans, and the Colts, respectively. None of those teams are breaking the bank with running backs. I will say in week 4, when they played the Browns, they did bottle everybody up to 93 rushing yards, but that also was on the back of 3 turnovers. So, and wasn't that the rain and wind, monsoonish game that they played?
I think so.
Yeah. So I think the Browns have a bounce back week here, but again, I'm going to co-sign what Dave said. Just go package some guys, make a deal. Trade deadline's coming up. Make a deal. All right. Which two QBs, Purdy, Dobbs, Geno, Howell, are the options? Someone waited a little too long in Superflex.
Let me look at my
Just
rankings here. Purdy, Dobbs, Geno.
Or somebody got hurt. Or you had Anthony Richardson and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I got Purdy and Howell in this one. I think that they're all decent options. Dobbs is the lowest on my list.
What?
I got him all in my top 16.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take Purdy and Geno.
Top 10?
I want Dobbs more than I want Purdy.
Dobbs 14 for me.
Yeah, give me Dobbs and Howell right now. I'm not a believer in Brock Purdy. I haven't been all year. Again, I think Brock Purdy's going to be benched before the end of this season for Sam Darnold. We see time and time again that Brock Purdy can't push the ball down the field and can't, let me ask you this question, Dave. Your team's down 14. Which of these guys do you want as your quarterback? You're down 14 going into the second half.
Do we get the system they play in? Because, I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
I know it's recency bias, and everyone that was waiting for the shoe to drop is celebrating in the streets. But this guy's got concussed at least once in the last 2 weeks, and that's where all of his bad play. He had no Trent Williams, no Deebo Samuel. I think he's gonna be fine following the bye. I like Purdy, and that's where I'm going. I do like Dobbs. Like I picked him up, and I'm keeping him. I kind of had to because I literally have 4 quarterbacks on the IR, but I do like Dobbs this week. I think they're all decent plays. Dobbs is a streamer. Geno's a streamer.
Dobbs and Howell, because again, back to the question of who do you want when you're down 14? You don't want the Shanahan system because remember, he's a grand total of 0-37 when trailing by 8 or more points in the fourth quarter.
I don't care if they win or lose. I care about fantasy points. I don't care shit if they win.
But
I just want Dobbs and Howell all day.
I'll take Purdy and Geno. Again, we are not helping this person at all because
we got to the controversial ones. We got to the controversial ones. We were a little too agreeable to start those. So
we couldn't even agree on whether this game was good or bad in Germany. So
I mean, the Patriots are losing, so it's a good game. I will say that probably influences me a bit.
Yeah,
I also once watched a 9-6 Buffalo Browns game. Watched it from start to finish. So just remember, the bar is low for me when it comes to good games. Super flex, 2 spots to fill. Jordan Love, Derek Carr, Tank Dell, Alex Madison.
It's I'm assuming super flex.
One flex and one super flex.
So Dave, you said you're going Love and Carr?
I think it's one flex and one super flex. So I think you can.
I don't know. It says super flex have to fill 2 spots, flex and offense. It says flex and offensive player.
Yeah, so play flex and an offensive player. 2 total spots to fill.
Okay. It's Carr and Dell for me.
Oh yeah, co-sign that 100%. Yep. Tank Dell with no Nico Collins, CJ Stroud up against a porous defense this week. The Bengals defense isn't that good. Any limitations on the Bills scoring points last week was the Bills offense more than the Bengals defense. And Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Jordan Love, 2025 XFL superstar Jordan Love.
What else we got?
Dave, any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I like Dell. It's hard to not go quarterback, especially if it's 6-point passing touchdown. We don't know. But it's hard to not go the quarterbacks. I don't like either of these quarterbacks. I think Taysom Hill takes a whole lot of the upside from Derek Carr. Derek Carr, he throws 300 yards every single week. He has 2 or 3 turnovers, no rushing yards, and Taysom Hill scores, 2 touchdowns. So he's just mid, and Jordan Love is less than mid, but it's still a quarterback. And, 15 points is kind of, that's his floor.
All right. So Tank Dell, we got 3 choices here. more or less 56.5 receiving yards, or 12 points fantasy, or 4 receptions. Which one are y'all playing this week on PrizePicks?
More.
What'd you
More
say
yards.
Adele's was the higher
More
lower?
than 56.5 receiving yards, more or less than 12 fantasy points, or more or less than 4 receptions. Which one are you locking in for him?
I'll go higher on the receiving yards.
So more than 56.5 yards?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going more than 6.5 yards.
More than the 56.5. Yeah, that just feels, because he could get that in one play. I mean, the way he's been just breaking down the field, the way he's just been making those big plays, he might not hit the receptions, and the fantasy score is iffy, but lock in that more than 56.5 on the PrizePicks play. Gotta love it. All right. Drake London over a banged up Hawkinson. Laporta and Hawk as tight end and flex. What are we thinking, gentlemen?
It's interesting. It's the first time we see London with Taylor Heineke. And Hawkinson, you know, he's been good without Jefferson. I mean, this is good options here. I believe I have London.
Yeah, I'm in on Drake London this week as well. The previous 2 weeks, he'd gone over 50 yards, and the week before that, he went for 125. Taylor Heineke's a better thrower of the ball than Desmond Ridder. So give me Drake London this week. I think he's in for a big week. I've been excited for him. I've got him in a bunch of DFS lineups this week. He just feels like a guy who's going to have a breakout here with Heineke under center.
Yeah, I got him 50 and 52 in my flex rankings.
50, 52. Oh,
yeah,
that's tight.
I will take both tight ends. I'll start both tight ends here.
Really? Why are you picking Laporta and Hawkins? Why are you picking Hawkinson over London, basically?
I think he's has a better opportunity for a touchdown. I mean, the Cardinals suck at stopping the run. I think that Arthur Smith has now come out and said that he's, realizes that he needs to use Bijan a little bit more in the red zone. I think that they are going to, personally, I think that they're going to use both of the running backs very hard today. I think that they don't really need to pass the ball a ton to beat this Cardinals team. They can do it all on the ground. So I just don't, I don't know. I don't see London having a massive game. I can see Hawkinson, because they said that they're going to put him in there during the important plays. So, I mean, he's going to be in there for their, the red zone packages. I could see him potentially getting 2 touchdowns today. I don't think London has that in his range of outcomes. So I'll take, and Laporta's my number 1 tight end today. So I'll take both those guys.
Oh God, yes. Laporta's not even a question. That wasn't even on the table. It was Sam Laporta, no matter what, write it on your sticky note and carry it around in your pocket all day as your boss yells at you and tells you got to make a splash. Go Sam Laporta, no matter what.
He's the ECR tight end 1 this week, I believe. He's really, really gained some confidence, and it's definitely something he's done all year.
So we're in a position where we're probably going to have 2 rookie tight ends finish in the top 5 for fantasy tight ends, and I don't think that's happened ever. And with Dalton Kincaid, just the way he's been used in an insane way, this is my chance to talk about the Bills, because it's not an Adam Pelletier appearance if he doesn't talk about the Bills. So,
and we got to check in on our My Guys. We did a My Guys episode before the season started. I was not feeling so great about my Dalton Kincaid pick for the first couple weeks, but
I mean,
he's been
on an absolute tear down the stretch here, because they finally got him involved. The Dawson Knox injury forced them to play him. Last 3 weeks, 8 catches for 75, 5 for 65, and 10 for 81. He's emerging as the dominant second option in that offense behind Stephon Diggs. And of course, Gabe Davis chooses now to become a ghost in a contract year. Gabe Davis, can't trust him. Higher ceiling, Will Levis or Josh Dobbs in week 10?
No, Dobbs.
This is for me, it's interesting because Tampa Bay's defense has been so bad. We just saw what CJ Stroud did to them, but the week before was similar. their secondary is they're 31st. They're not the worst. 31st against the pass, but over the last
31st, they're not the worst. They're 31st. They're only almost the worst.
They're the 31st best. They're the 31st best.
31st.
And but over the last few weeks, they've just been gorged. So I think everyone's got upside. Will Levis does have some rushing ability. So I like both these plays. Like Will Levis and both of them kind of came out of nowhere for us. Like when Dobbs got moved, it couldn't have been a better spot for him.
Since the bye, the Bucs have only failed to give up more than 300 yards passing in 1 week, and that was because they gave up 245 to Desmond Ridder. They let Desmond Ridder throw for 245 on them. Give me Will Levis all day. I love Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is a dog. He's playing himself into a contract. He and Gardner Minshew right now are fun to watch because it's just guys where it's like you can see the dollar signs rack up when they hit the throws or they make the hard run plays. But give me Will Levis today. He seems to have rejuvenated DeAndre Hopkins, and that's been great. And again, Desmond Ridder threw for 250 on this defense. So lock in Will Levis. CJ Stroud or Jared Goff. Andrew, how you feeling about this one? Your boy against, the man who has an entire island dedicated to how much he sucks. We caught you mid-pretzel bite. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was
All right, let's go to Dave.
We might need to do a wellness check.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hit me in the back of the throat. I'm going to go Goff. I will take Goff. I think that game's just going to be higher scoring. There's going to be more opportunities there. I do like CJ Stroud as well, so I think you're fine either way, but I will take Goff.
I got them both really high this week, but I got Stroud, and part of my concern is the return of David Montgomery. I like Goff, and I like the fact he almost always plays indoors, but it's just the touchdowns. He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, and David Montgomery returning makes me nervous that, they score 4 touchdowns and he only gets one of them through the air.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're going back to, I like the matchup for Stroud a little bit more against that Bengals defense. He seems to really be starting to come into his element and playing hard, playing well. And he's adding a little bit more than Goff right now on the ground with his legs. He's not going to go crazy for 100 yards, but he's going to get you 20 to 30 yards rushing, which is nice. And he's going to be a threat around the red zone as well. And to your point, I do like Devin Singletary on the ground this week, but he's no Devin Montgomery who's going to vulture all the touchdowns. So give me CJ Stroud.
Yeah, this is actually my question for my league.
The Stroud or Goff?
The Stroud one. I do have.
You had such a strong opinion about it for having a question.
Yeah, it wasn't actually my question, but it was. I had a lineup decision I had to make, and I put Stroud in.
All right, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, or Calvin Ridley? Which one would you keep rest of season as well? 2-part question. Love it.
I mean, that's tough.
Is it? It's Deontay Johnson, isn't it? Running away. Ridley's kind of been a ghost these last couple weeks.
Well,
it's not Ridley for me.
To go with the trade question, I don't think you can trade Ridley unless he has a good game today because you're not going to get much for him. Deontay or McLaurin would bring home more, and so you're going to have to trade the better guy, unfortunately. You can't just be like, Adam, Calvin Ridley's got a really cool name. Can you take him because he's been good in the past? He's not been very good lately. You're not going to be able to trade him. And so that's why that's why he's in a lot of these lineup decisions.
I mean, he also didn't play. They were on bye last week, and against Pittsburgh, he did get 6 for 83. But he hasn't had a touchdown since week 4, and that's hurting him. And he hasn't had a 100-yard game since week 5.
Yep.
So you're just wondering, that's part of the thing. This Jags offense has seemed a little bit out of sorts lately, and they just haven't, been playing like people think they should be playing. So do you package Deontay Johnson and Calvin Ridley and get something back? Who's a guy Dave, who's a guy you're going out and trying to get with those that you think you could realistically get?
Devonta Smith. With Dallas Goedert out, I really like him. And so he's on a bye this week, but you trade him, his bye is over. I think he's someone you could target. Kind of put me on the spot there. So but Brandon Ayuk's another one.
Andrew, who are you thinking? You're packaging Deontay and Calvin Ridley. Who are you trying to get back?
I like the Eagles playoff schedule. So I'm trying to get one of the Eagles guys. Probably, obviously I don't think that's enough to get AJ Brown. So you're probably going to go Devontae Smith. So Smith and somebody. I would look. I mean, again, yeah, you kind of like we're on the spot here a little bit. I think that I would want to look at playoff schedules for a running back as well and find myself a decent playoff running back. But I'm definitely going after Devontae Smith. I mean, I would try AJ Brown. I doubt that person will trade him. But I would like to get Devontae Smith, especially with Goddard out as well.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a guy like that. Maybe you're trying to go get Ayuk in San Francisco. I know that's going to be a tough get, but you might try to set. You're looking for somebody who's shallow at wide receiver and as a top guy. You're saying, I'm going to give you 2 startable pieces week over week. So you're finding that person in your league who drafted a wide receiver early, or maybe the guy who drafted – maybe the team that drafted Justin Jefferson and Jefferson's now out. You're targeting their wide receiver too, if that wide receiver is better than Deontay Johnson and Ridley. So Jerome Ford or James Conner? Conner coming off of IR today. We going with him or are we going with Jerome Ford, boys?
I'm going with Conner. I know Ford's been getting a little bit more volume. He's a home run play, and so if he hits a home run, you're happy. But I'm going to with Conner. He's been getting the guaranteed volume every time he's been healthy. Kyler returns. They said there's no restrictions. We'll see. But Connor's really owned that backfield when he's been healthy, and so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I agree with everything Dave just said. No, I think it's Conner. He probably just gets more opportunities than Ford will. Again, Ford sharing with Hunt. Tough matchup. Yeah, it's probably Conner, and I don't even really like Conner, to be honest. So I don't even feel good about that. But he just has a better spot.
The only thing that's put me in the Jerome Ford camp is he did have 7 targets last week, and he might get more and more. Now, this was just unnecessary. Talk about a beach. I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong at all. But yeah, I think it's Conner. Part of me wants to say Ford if it's PPR. But I feel like it's going to be Conner. DeMercado hasn't done enough to steal work from him. So Brian Robinson or Najee Harris this week?
Damn, that's tough. You know what? Let's just see how I have him ranked. I think I have B-Rob higher. No, I don't. I have Harris higher by 3, so I will take Harris.
Dave, who are you thinking?
I have Harris a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, Harris he's just so damn consistent. You look up 15K, you look up 18 to 20 touches a game in the dictionary, and you just see a picture of Najee Harris. Brian Robinson's just been so up and down this year. You know, he'll give you 63 yards and a touchdown, and he'll give you 23 yards for a touchdown, or he'll give you 10 yards and no touchdowns. So
it's been very game script dependent. And so if Washington gets up, then Brian Robinson's going to be a good play, and he's going to run the ball a lot. If Washington gets down, which their defense has been getting in the hole, then they're having to throw themselves out of it, and Brian Robinson's almost game scripted out.
Yeah, and that's just the thing, is he's not getting a lot of work through the air. I will say the Seahawks have an awful rush defense. The last 3 weeks, 127 to the Cardinals, 155 to the Browns, 298 to the Ravens. So it might be maybe it is. You know what? I'm changing my answer now that I've looked at this. Give me Brian Robinson this week. I think Eric Bieniemy is going to feed him early and often. So yeah, give me Brian Robinson. Another non-helpful question from us. We are providing no clarity, only thought processes right now.
So just a few injury updates. Just checking Twitter. Trent and Debo are active. TJ Hawkinson and Jamar Chase are active. Some guys that are out. KJ Osborne, T. Higgins, and Treylon Burks.
All right. Now we got a good one here. So looking at Jamar Chase being active today, somebody's asking, do you go with Chase or do you keep Chase in or do you stick with Higgins? What are you doing, Andrew?
So Chase or Hopkins?
Given Chase is banged up.
Yeah. Hopkins does have a good matchup. I mean, man, I look at this as, okay, so if I really need a win and I sit one of my best players, Chase, and he has a good game, I'm going to want to kick myself in the ass. So I would rather just play Chase and live with a potential re-injury during the game than go with Hopkins and have to trust Will Levis. So I'll still take Chase.
Yeah, I'm going with Chase, but it's definitely close. I've dropped him down a little bit, knowing that he's banged up and there's potential for re-injury and all that. Like, that's the scary part when these guys come in banged up, is one big hit or something like that, and they're on the sideline. So I do think that Hopkins is the safer play. And so if you really need the win and you feel like you just need a floor play, I think Hopkins is easily going to get you double-digit points.
I mean, I'm curious how you can't get both of these guys in your lineup.
That is a good question.
I don't know who you're flexing that DeAndre Hopkins isn't your flex because Chase is your wide receiver one. So why aren't they both in your lineup? I mean, I'm curious to hear who it is. Are there many receivers you're going to start over realistically based on this team? Who'd they take in the second or third round to be able to sit Hopkins this week?
I mean, could have been Amon-Ra St. Brown, could have been Keenan Allen. I mean, you know, there's guys that you could be starting, and maybe he just has really good running backs too, and starting those in some flex spots. I mean, it's hard to tell, but I would say that, I mean, those guys I definitely start over Hopkins.
Yeah. There we go. All right, next, Chris Godwin or Jordan Addison at the flex.
That's a tough one. Well, I'm trying to see how I have them ranked here.
We're all thinking about this one.
I'll go Godwin, because I think Addison does have a tough matchup, so I'll go Godwin.
Yeah, I'm going Godwin.
Yeah, last week feels like an anomaly for Godwin. Only 2 catches for 16 yards against a Houston defense that he should have done a lot better against. He has only gone over 100 yards once this year, but so has Addison. Yeah, I gotta stick with Godwin though. That's too good. Godwin's been too reliable in that offense, and he shows open, which is what Baker Mayfield likes to throw to.
Yeah, I got him 46 and 53 in my flex rankings.
All right, Tank Dell or Deontay Johnson.
It's 2 questions, PPR and then 0.5 PPR. And I don't know if it changes the answer in either of them for you guys.
It does for me. Half point PPR, I'll take Tank. Full point PPR, I'll take DJ.
It's not going to change the answer for me. It's Deontay Johnson, no matter what. He's just more involved, more reliable work week in and week out. With Tank Dell, you're hoping for a big play. So give me Deontay Johnson in both of those situations.
Tank Dell did have 11 targets last week. I think that's probably in line with what he gets today. I just worry about the matchup a little bit more for him. But I do think that he's more of a home run hitter than DJ, which is why I prefer him in the half point.
Yeah, and the challenge, the reason I'm hesitant to go all in on Dell is before last week's 11 target, it was 4, 4, and 3 in the previous 3 weeks for targets. And even before that, it was 7, 10, and 4. So he's up and down as far as targets. I like the consistent work. I do like that Tank Dell's a home run hitter, and they're trying to put the ball in his hands. You know, he's averaging almost, about 2.5 carries a week, and they're trying to get the ball in his hands. Just Deontay Johnson is the model of consistency when it comes to receivers.
Yeah, I had a Tank Dell question last week and got it wrong. And the guy was like, man, I wish I would have went Dell. And I'm like, you literally could not have started him for 5 weeks in a row, and he finally hit. Like, the process was right by sitting him over. It was a good play. Like, it was not, over some schmuck. It was a good play. But this one, I'm still going to go Deontay Johnson. I think they're both startable. And to go with like a deep play, because we're talking about Houston Texans, like I think Noah Brown is someone that, like, he looked great last week. And I think he's someone with Nico out is going to have a bigger role. So I have Dell, Schultz, and Noah Brown as starts this week.
So we don't think we finally see the emergence and arrival of John Mechie.
It just hasn't been there. And Tank Dell's kind of taken that away a little bit. He plays in the slot a lot, and that was not good for Mechie because Mechie's he's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
And
All
Robert
right.
Woods is toast.
Next, we got Javonte Williams or Tank Dell for the flex. 3 and 6. Need answers quick. 10-team league.
Ooh.
How are we feeling?
Tank.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. Javonte Williams just hasn't been reliable enough. We also are very pro Tank Dell. This is a Tank Dell and CJ Stroud podcast. This is where we talk about him. So next, Tyler Lockett or Tyler Boyd today. Who we thinking?
Lockett.
Dang, that is very close for me. I will take Lockett because of the matchup. But man, it is extremely close for me.
Yeah. This is one of my famous Adam answers. We're going to stop living in 2021 and we're going to go with Irwin today, actually, because as Dave alluded to earlier, Tyler Boyd didn't get the work early. Irwin's available in most
probably
over
98%.
Yeah. And the last time T. Higgins was out, it was Irwin who got the work and Tyler Boyd didn't do it. It seems like they're trying to phase Irwin in as that third receiver, and he's more likely to get the work. So give me Irwin this week over both of these guys because Lockett has been fading with the emergence of Jackson Smith-Njigba, and both these guys just feel like their time has passed.
I don't know. I do kind of feel like the Bengals game is a Joe Mixon day potentially. I think that we could see that as well. So that is it's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, this is very close for me. These two guys. Jesus.
Matthew Lax, Matthew Lax offering clarification on the Chris Godwin and Jordan Addison question. Or no, the Hopkins and Chase. St. Brown is my number 2 and Ramondre's in the flex. Keep St. Brown in, put Hopkins on the bench. Thank you, Matthew.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us and offering some clarification.
I probably would have played Hopkins over Ramondre for the.
I think so too, but I'm biased.
Yeah, I would have.
All right, next one. We got one with a lot of explanation here. So we're talking about need help with the flex, full point PPR. Madison or Schultz. Have McCaffrey and Montgomery at the RB and Laporta at the tight end. How are we feeling?
I'll take Schultz. Yeah, Schultz.
Yeah, with Cam Akers out, I mean, we're going to see Ty Chandler in there, and we've seen that a little bit. Madison, I don't think he's ever going to get the full workload, but he is getting decent volume in the receiving game. I'll still go Schultz, but I can understand the concern there.
No, I like the Dalton Schultz play too. He had 10 catches last week for 130 yards. He feels like the guy who's starting to arrive in Houston. He's turning into that reliable option for CJ Stroud over the middle of the field. That's about it. There's nothing else to say there.
Schultz is a great trade target. like he's probably somebody's second tight end because they weren't relying on him. Like if you need a tight end, I know that some people are probably looking at Taysom Hill, which is another option, but Schultz is great. He's on a high pass volume offense that cannot run the ball, and he's one of the red zone threats for CJ Stroud.
Okay, so let's do a Dalton Schultz heat check here. Dalton Schultz or George Kittle? Who
Schultz.
are we taking? Schultz.
Schultz.
No hesitation.
And rest of season for me, by the way.
Whoo. Dave, how you feeling? What you thinking?
I still got Kittle one spot above, but I'm fine with it. I've been a Schultz guy. Brad and I argued about it a lot. He said he was a system guy. I was like, listen, I'll take him. I was hoping he went to my team. Like he's good, and they're throwing the ball a lot, so I'm okay with either of those plays.
God, they're like the same person, really. Dalton Schultz, 33 for 350 and 4 touchdowns. George Kittle, 32 for 443 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, they have almost identical stat lines. But give me Schultz just because, again, like Dave said, one of these offenses is going to throw the ball a lot. The other offense is centered on running the ball. All right. We got another one here. Mike Hill. Do I start Tyler Algier?
Can we get some context, like over who? Because, like, yeah, I mean, I would start Tyler Algier. I mean, he's getting goal line work, right? But like, over who?
Mike, can you give us some clarification here?
Yeah,
we need some help here. We want to help you.
Just to go back to some tight end talk, some other tight ends that I think could be out there on waiver wires that people, if you need a tight end to want to look at, Cade Otton, Logan Thomas, and Trey McBride all may be out there. Those are all guys I think could be sneaky plays for the week.
Mike Hill joining us. He was the Boyd and Lockett person. So Boyd, Lockett, or Algier?
I'll still take Lockett over that.
Yeah, I still got Lockett.
I'm going to go Algier.
If you have to pick two, do you throw Algier in over Boyd? Anybody?
Yes.
You do?
Boyd's the odd man out there for me if I need to go two.
If it's PPR, I don't. I like Lockett and Boyd if it's PPR. If it's half or non, I will take Algier over Boyd.
Yeah, I don't know. Algier's he is getting that work inside the goal line. He's getting those attempts. You know, his snap counts are still decent. He's hovering between like 40 and 50% of snaps.
He's been wildly inefficient, though, with those goal line rushes. Like Bijan has not. Now, he hasn't got the same workload, which, again, I think we do see that change today. So that is a knock on Algier if, Arthur Smith does what he says he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I'm sticking with Lockett, but there are definitely some guys that I would, I would start Algier over. It's Arizona. It's a good matchup, and Arthur Smith will, be able to do what he wants to do. If they get a lead and be able to run the ball, he's going to be a very happy man. But I do think the pressure to use Bijan is why I would be concerned in a tougher, tighter matchup.
Yep. Lockett to answer his question down there. Non-PPR Locker. Yeah, I'll take Lockett still.
Lockett.
All right. We got a good one here. Next, Metcalf or Addison?
Metcalf.
Whoops. I had a typo there.
That sounds like the German way to say Metcalf. So,
it is. We're an international show here, folks.
I'll take Metcalf. Just better matchup.
Yeah, I got Metcalf.
Okay. This one was to help me out. I'm sitting there, pretty good week, but just
wasn't it DK Decaf was like a Twitter handle that was going viral a couple years ago.
I don't remember, but it's possible. And either of y'all got questions that you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple. One that's been burning in my soul all week because they're like back to back for me is Ford or Warren. PPR, it's my second running back.
I'm going to go Ford because he's been getting the passing game work. I know Warren has kind of been, but it's just a big playability of Ford. Like I've bet against him plenty of times, and he's taken that one carry for 70 yards or one catch. And I do think they're going to be trailing a lot against Baltimore. They also have 3 linemen out. And so, well, the 3 starting tackles are all out. So there's 2 starting tackles and the backup tackle all out. So I think there's going to be a lot of dump offs and a lot of screens and things to try to affect the pass rush.
Yeah, I'm not going to help at all because I'm going to say it's Warren for me. I just think he's been getting such consistent work. That Steelers team is going pretty much with a straight 50-50 split. And I just like Warren more than I like Ford's work. DC Dactyl coming back. I don't know if he missed when we talked about it, but Kittle or Schultz, we are consensus here for Dalton Schultz. We feel like he's got the better upside. He's in a better offensive situation, and he is less likely to be relegated to being a glorified tackle. All right. Y'all got any other questions to throw out there to selfishly help our teams before we get out of here?
No, but I will throw a deep shot out there. If you're looking for like a scramble flex play, Rico Dowdle, the Giants game, as a Giants fan, it pains me, but they're going to get stomped today. And I could see Rico getting 15 carries in this one. Like, he's already involved, and he's probably going to get 5 to 8 already. But if they go and get ahead by 21 points at half, they're going to save Tony Pollard.
So, Dave, I'm going to say that you're going more than 24.5 rushing yards for Rico Dowdle this week on PrizePicks.
Yes, smash that.
Smash that. Get your first deposit match using code SGPN for the greatest player fantasy game, PrizePicks, going more or less than anything. And just real quick, Cooper Rush is still the backup in Dallas over Trey Lance. So we don't get the Trey Lance, Tommy DeVito show that we all hoped. All right, guys, you got anything you want to plug before we get out of here and throw it to Sean and Kramer for the pregame show? Andrew's son has something he needs to plug.
All right.
Oh, water. Wow. There we go, man. Let's go.
All right.
Andrew and Kid are going to have fun over there. Dave, anything you got to plug before we get out of here?
No, just good luck this week. I'll be doing a trade show again this week. So if you guys tune in on Tuesday, talking trades.
There we go, y'all. Make sure you turn into the SGP main feed. Check out Sean and Kramer talking pregame, giving you everything you need, and we will see you next time.